film a little bit.
Yeah?
Hi, my name is Ravi Freeman. I'm a filmmaker and musician. I was recently in Gabon to be initiated into the Central African shamanic lineage of Bwiti. In Bwiti they work with the powerful psychedelic plant iboga. I took the opportunity to interview Tata Yo, who was one of the facilitators of the initiation, and this is my interview. Hope you enjoy it.
My name is Hugues. My French name is Poitevin, my Gabonese name is Obiang, so as we say in the Bantu tradition, the first name is yours, the second name is the one of your parents. So my father was Poitevin and me, I am Obiang, so I am Obiang Poitevin. People call me Tata Yo for long because Tata Yo means the father. Is it the father of the sky? Because Yo is the sky and Yo is the vomiting. So it's, Tata Yo. Am I the father of the vomiting or am I the father from the sky? It's to you to answer. I don't know myself. So, yeah, it's a very... I came in Gabon for 2 weeks to see my mother, who was working for a French company making a dam. I was supposed to come for 2 weeks. And it's 52 years ago. So something happened. Something happened.
Something which leads us to the next question, which is you work with a plant teaching medicine called iboga.
Yeah.
Would you tell us how you met this extraordinary plant first?
In fact, my generation is a generation of the flower power, because I was born in 50. Just imagine I was 16 in 66, 18 in 69. So before I came to Gabon, I had a clue of what was LSD. And so many years after, in 76, I was in Gabon since 71. In 76, I was in a mission to carry a spare wheel to a truck after the river, 100 kilometers away from the main town, and I had with a Land Rover. There's a proverb says, if you want to go to the jungle, take a Land Rover. If you want to come back, take a Toyota. Excuse me for English people. I really loved Land Rover. I had 3, old one but good. But this one had a breakdown. It was a glow plug who exploded. No compression. I was in the middle of nowhere, no light, very dark night. I saw a little light 200 meters away. So I walked to the light, I knocked on the door. and I met somebody who stayed my friend, my close uncle of Bwiti, Papa Andre. He had a very nice smile, white teeth, very dark skin and a beard and shiny eyes and an harlequin robe and a little green hat, and we stayed friends forever. And that's how I met this man, who led me to his brother in front of the road, because I was a truck driver, so I was driving trucks, and every time I was passing by there, and slowly they tamed me, I tamed them, because by that time the French resident here was saying very bad things about Bwiti, about black people, you know. They used to say, in Gabon, there's only wood works. Wood works, but it's not the only thing to work, because women works, and some men too. Whatever. Yes, this led me 3 years after to eat iboga. And I'm supposed to be the first, or one of the very first, I think the first, but I don't know. I don't really know. I had a clue of some people who had iboga in 50 something, because they wanted to know why their Gabonese woman was dead. This guy was supposed to be a Frenchman, but I know he had he had this goal to find out why his wife was dead. For me, it was just, I saw those people so happy, so simply happy, that I was very curious of what was happening. So I decided to eat iboga. As I am from this generation of LSD, I fear the iboga, but not enough to not eat it. Yeah. So iboga is divine. What the human do with iboga is human, but iboga is divine. That's what I can say.
So your journey, your exploration started though with LSD. That was the sort of beginning of your journey, as it were.
Yeah, that was when I was 21. When I came to Gabon, in fact, the first time I had this was in Gabon. I was 21, and then when I had the breakdown, I was 26. And yeah. I've been, I don't anymore, but I've been a heavy weed smoker. And I was driving trucks on mud roads, and if I'm not dead, it's because of these patients that gave me the weed. The weed gave me patience. Because you can spend days to cross 200 kilometers, you know, so you have to be patient. And to be patient, weed was excellent. But in fact, this iboga experience was so fantastic for me that I never regretted it, and still, you know, I don't know if I can explain that to somebody who doesn't know, but iboga links you to synchronicity, and synchronicity makes things happen, and all what happened in my life is about synchronicity. Somebody's calling me. Okay, so yeah, that's the important thing, because if you are very I would say pure in your intent, and if you don't wait for something special, iboga leads you to synchronicity mainly, and that's maybe the main effect. And it leads you first to your trauma. It makes you meet your trauma on a different angle, and it helps you to go forward, you know, and then synchronicity do the rest.
So there's iboga, and then there's Bwiti.
Yeah.
So how would you?
There's many rituals here, many rituals using iboga, and they're all different according to different tribes, different knowledge, but they all use iboga, most of them. So Bwiti is what Bwiti is, let's say it's a generic name for this ritual with iboga, but you have different You have loro, different type of Bwiti, ilombo, different abanji. You have many rituals. The Bantu were people with lots of protocol and social relations. So Pygmy people were very simple with no hierarchy, and Bantu people, they have a lot of hierarchy and protocol. So I think when the Bantu, it's not proven that when the Bantu met the iboga, they kept their protocols and arranged it with the iboga and made a very beautiful type of ceremonies. Like you have in Gabon very, very beautiful rituals and very impressive in aesthetic, in artistic side, on music side. Called Black African art. It was the main inspiration of painters like Picasso, Vlaminck, and Giacometti, and whatever. So I think that when the colonizer met the African art, they destroy the culture like all invaders do to get what they want in exchange of stupidity and richness. Colonizers. It's everywhere. It has been everywhere, and here they grab this. You can see a photo of Picasso in his workshop with a little harp at his feet, plenty of masks on the wall. So the influence is sure. But Picasso was a great artist, plus the influence, he made what he made, and he inspired many people, and the modern art was born, so. But it comes from here, and here it's lost. I mean, today, if you want to buy a mask, an ancient mask, you don't find ancient masks, they're all in the museum everywhere in the world, and if you want an ancient new mask, it's made by Muslim from Cameroon, so, and it's like that. But you still have very good carvers in Gabon, but there's no market for it. So I know an excellent carver. He's great. He's a young man. He has a talent incredible. I know plenty. I know at least 5 or 6. But one is young, and his job, I met him the other day on a parking, and we recognized each other. I said, what do you do now? Before he was doing mask on the road there, but he doesn't make money for. He became a very low functionary in the ministry, you know. So he's the guy who brings envelope to the. So I mean, talent is not anymore recognized in the traditional way, and that's very sad because it's like an artist in the traditional world is recognized, but in the modern life, if he's not a rapper, nobody takes care of him, you know. So there's a kind of sadness in the loss of real culture. There's a few artists who try to mix traditional and modern. It's what it is. It's what they can do with it, and it's nice. Because in Gabon, what I find out, everybody's an artist, but there is no opportunity to live from your artistic side. So, of course, you will do things like being a military, a soldier, a cop, or anything which is not artistic at all, because you can't survive from your artistic side. And that's sad, because now that we have Westerners coming, they give value to this ancient art, and there's a very few carvers, musicians left. There are still, and the fact that Europeans come encourage the local young people to keep their skill, or to get more skills from their ancestors, which is a good thing. It's the opposite of what was colonization, you know. It's not killing, it's inviting the youth to do their things.
Do you think maybe there's almost like the possibility now for Bwiti culture and the medicine work part of it, that maybe there is a possibility now for revival, and maybe if there could be a way to encourage and patronize this talent that's still around at this time, that maybe, you know, and some of the young ones coming up, like I've seen, like Noye here, you know, there's a way forward.
I think so.
Because that's what I've seen since I've come here
Yeah.
to Ibando, being here in this time.
Yeah.
That it's just at this point now where maybe this could be a way through to, you know.
Yeah, like people going to festival somewhere and coming back, because they don't want to stay there. They want to exchange. When they leave happy from Bwiti, they don't need to go anywhere. They can go to travel, to meet, to share, but somebody like Mbilou doesn't want to live in England. He wants to go to England to be with his wife and to share what he knows about iboga, about culture, about love. And that's important, that, as you say, it can be a real revival, and it is already a revival. And then you have to mind, because the difference between real culture and new age is not always easy.
Well, this is what I've found since having the opportunity here to really have a deeper dive into Bwiti culture, in that it's my experience is it's always about the authenticity, and that's what I saw, meeting Mark, meeting Zero, and seeing his journey and how beautifully he's developed. That I could recognise the authenticity here, and the way it goes back all the way to the source, which takes me to the next question, which is I can't not mention the Pygmies, because as my understanding, and maybe you could say something about this, is that this is one of the main sources of what at least I've experienced here at Banda this week. Could you? And because I've always loved the Pygmy culture anyway, and the music is for me. I tell people in my events, I say, you know, these you might not know this Pygmies. For me, they're the most extraordinary singers and musicians that have ever existed and still exist. That's the point. It's a living culture still. And so, could you talk about the Pygmies?
Yes, I would love to have a very good. Pygmy. First of all, Pygmies is the name that Westerners give them. It's kind of pejorative, but there are in Gabon we have different tribes of Pygmies, and not all are invested in iboga. But the one invested in iboga or not invested in iboga, because they have other rituals that are secret, so you don't really know if they use iboga or not. They might use something else that we don't know. When they do their I don't see, if you see on YouTube you can find The Last Dance on Vimeo. Vimeo you have The Last Dance Gabon. On YouTube you have The Last Dance Gabon. On Vimeo it's better as definition, but whatever. It's a great film where you see a lot of music from Gabon, and among them Pygmies. And Pygmies, they are just musicians, singer, poets, artists. And picking up and hunting and fishing, and the fact that they've been stabilized and they are not nomad anymore, and that's the problem, because before when the old man was dying or dead, they bury him and then they move. They never stay at the place where the death caught one of them. But now they are nomads, so they are like the others. They have cemeteries, and they stay there. And it's totally opposite to their culture, because their culture was to walk around with the seasons, with the animals, with the fish, with the leaves and the fruits. And now they have to stay at the place where they are. And even in the national parks, they don't have the real right to penetrate their own territories to feed themselves. So it's a big problem. So as in all minorities of autochthons, it's over.
It's okay.
Okay.
Still.
Okay.
It's okay.
In as in of autochthons, alcohol comes, and then only the one who when they drink for after the ceremony, it's okay. But if they drink before the ceremony, it's wrong. But still, there are a few villages still very, very authentic and not corrupted totally by alcohol. And Antonio knows them, Dylan knows them, I know a few too. So I still have a hope about their status, that they will, Bantu people used to say not very good things about Pygmy, but when they have a big problem, a big spiritual or physical or problem, they go to see the Pygmies as doctors, When your modern doctor doesn't know what to do, you go to Pygmy people. The same you said, they are not clean, or they are what. The same you say they are no good will save you. That's the different cultures. I don't say Bantu are bad people, but they should be a little more grateful about the one who led them through the forest. And I'm sure the clever Bantu know that, but some are not clever, like everywhere. You have stupid people everywhere. Those will say, "Oh, Pygmy stinks," but Pygmy saves. And Pygmy, they have a real knowledge, and they are very nice people. A kind of shy too. Unless they are dancing and singing, they become very open. But if not, they are like very shy people. And the authenticity, as you say, of Pygmies is they are not Pygmies as you know. Pygmies are supposed to be very small. They are still not very tall, but you have some tall Pygmies because mixed with Bantu. And so the one mixed with Bantu are taller, but they are human, and but they are always kind. you, well, you never find somebody crooky or very innocently crooking. You know, they are not in the business, which is very nice, and that was pleasing me when I met Gabon. Nobody was in the business. Everybody was nearly innocent about business. And this is something very pleasant because everywhere business is, the world of the market is everywhere, but in Gabon it was not like that. So 20, 30, 45 years ago, people were you could stay your door open, nobody steal. But it's only when they wanted to build the modern town that migrants came from everywhere, France, Lebanon, Senegal, Cameroon, and then among migrants you have everybody. Like everybody, everywhere you have everybody. So the business side of Gabonese is very recent, and it becomes like everywhere. So what's not like everywhere, it's if you go to the forest, if you go to villages in the forest, if you go to special places like Ebando, you will be protected from the ordinary market system, and that's good. But you have to know some people who can introduce you to real good people, like Antonio, GabonTouch.org, like Blessing of the Forest, I hope, like Bando, and so on. Yeah. So I'm very proud that people of your quality, honesty, and integrity are coming to us, because it can make this revival by linking people and bringing artists, Gabonese artists or African artists, to Europe and back, and bringing people like you here to have a dive into the tradition. You see, 15 days is short, but to dive, it's a good time. Yeah. Because you just need 1 week, in fact, because the integration will take years, in fact. But before the initiation to iboga was only for old people. I mean, old people of your age, between 40 and 50. It was supposed to give access to wisdom. And because it's true that now when you give iboga to young people, they can emerge thinking they are the one. We all are the one, but they are the one. And the time to think they are not the only one can be 2, 3, 4, 5 years in which there are horrible people. I've been like that, because iboga told me, you are the one. But my lack of humbleness didn't tell me, you are not the only one. You're a bloody one, okay, but you're not the bloody only one.
Well, that's one of the things I love about what I've discovered here and within the Bwiti tradition, is that there's a beautiful respect for example, the male and female.
Yeah, Gabonese hospitality is really a nice thing. You can feel, I've been living my very young youth in Basque country, which is a very strong identity. I never felt home there, but in Gabon you feel home very easy, and that's a very charming thing, because to feel home somewhere is a charm. It's a pleasure. And well, of course, if somebody get pissed to me, he will say fucking white or whatever, but it's only because he's angry. He won't be aggressive by itself. He will say that if you have an argument. If you have an argument, you are always too white or too black or too tall or too big or too stupid or not enough intelligent, whatever. When you have an argument, it's easy to, if you tall, they say you too tall, you're too small, or whatever. People here has the gift about hospitality. They know how to receive somebody. They don't have much, in the village they don't have much. They have everything, but it's the life is very root, it's There's not too much. It's yes, too much rain sometimes, too much herbs everywhere, too much forest somehow, and but the people is nice. And there's a big problem for 25 years exodus, rural exodus, and that kills the country. In fact, because everything gets imported from everywhere in the world. I think 95 or at least 90% of everything we eat here comes from outside, which is sad because in the former times it was much more local food, but now it becomes everything imported because the rural people are coming to town, or the old people they are dying, and so the young they come to town and they become without skills like everywhere. They are not black anymore, they are not white, they don't know much about their own culture, they don't know much about the Western culture, so they are between two worlds like everywhere in Birmingham or in Paris, you know. So that's a drama of ID, and that's where iboga is good because it can gives you a real good ID of your ID. More than an ID, it can settle you in your body, in your spiritual environment. Bon.
But with many of the with much of the Bwiti, and like with many of the master plants,
Yes.
It's easy to say that it's only for those who feel the calling.
Yeah.
So
It's easy to say, yeah.
it's limited in a certain way,
Yeah.
but it feels like for those who can come, there's this authenticness about it. But what I loved about the initiation was it was such a slow and beautiful journey.
Yeah.
It was beautifully paced, and the way it started in the forest,
Mm-hmm.
it's I just, you know, if you'd have it's just beautifully planned out. Is that come from a combination over time of combining just very naturally these fusion of cultures?
In fact, the way we do is totally inspired from what we learned from the village, but we make it before in the past. Initiation could last 6 months, but now they make it in 3 days. So we found 6 months is not possible in the modern world. Enfin, not possible for most of the people. And 3 days is you can. How do you want to get the matter in 3 days? Because it's so many informations to receive that you can't. In 3 days, it's impossible. So between being too long or too short, there's a way of being right. In fact, and 2 weeks, I think it's perfect up to now. And as you say, we go slow, so you have the time to integrate what's happening, you have the time to rest, you have the time to eat good food, you have the time to settle in your body, in your spirit, and that's very important because, as I say, the English says, speed kills, and that's true, and that's very true, and that's something we learn here. I used to say, I'm Gabonese, I'm not in a hurry, or I'm not in a hurry, I'm Gabonese. But now even the Gabonese begin to speed because urban life makes you speed, Well, to make a Gabonese speed, it's much more difficult than to make a French or an English speed.
But what I loved also about it was the fact that this was happening in Africa.
Yeah.
And my own personal journey was with the Kora, the West African harp.
In Senegal.
Senegal, Gambia, Mali, that whole area below the Sahara, which is obviously a very musically rich culture.
Yeah, totally.
Now, famously. But this area is not so known within the music. Being speaking as a musician and a studier of music and indigenous music from many different cultures around the world for a long time. This was such an opportunity also for me to go to like I said, the music of the Pygmies is just extraordinary. It's like the music of angels. So to come deeper into this culture, it felt like going closer to the source.
Yes, it is.
And so, in terms of the music that I heard, particularly within the ceremonial aspects, could you talk a little bit about the different instruments that involve? Like, for example, I built and played a Celtic harp when I was in my 20s. So this is for me a reconnection. Eventually I found the Kora.
Yes.
But this is for me almost like going to the source of music itself, and also possible ancient historical connections, like all the way through to Egypt and the King David harp.
Yes, absolutely.
So is there something you can say about that as well?
You find the same harp on the Egyptian relief. So the harp represents a woman because the woman has many strings. The masculine bow, the mouse.
Mugongo?
Yeah, mugongo.
Yeah.
Has one string. It's a male instrument because, as you know, male has only one string, and it's a big problem because there's a jealousy between men and women because man has only one string and is very jealous of Madame having 8 strings. So it's and then you have many instruments, but the two major are the harp and the mugongo, which is feminine, masculine. And then you have the shakers, and then you have the horn, you have the bells, but you have the drums. And that's where really the Pygmy essence, the Bantu essence is the drums. And
is there the drums aspect of it, which we heard on the final night?
Yes.
Is that from any particular source, from the Pygmies or the Bantu, or is it a mixture of both?
Oh, I think it's a mixture of both, but the way that there's two rhythm one and two rhythm drums.
Yeah.
And two solo. You've seen that. You heard
Yeah. There's 3 sets at 3.
And this works together perfectly. And even if you don't know how to dance, you feel like dancing. dancing is a writing in Africa. You know, there's no alphabet except from dancing somehow in the traditional world of Africa, of this part of Africa. And the dance is major, you know, so it's a way for people to express themselves. It's to dance, and you can see that in all the village, all type of age of people of any condition, social, from minister to little workers, everywhere. Everybody dance. Everybody dance. Yes, everybody. And this, yeah. You see, I think the music from here was secret up to very recent period. We heard about the yodel of Pygmies before we met the Bwiti music. We knew because we had ethnomusicologue who taped, like the Smithsonian Institute. They taped Pygmies, different tribes of Pygmies music, and it's always incredible. Wonderful, and you can find that on everywhere. But if you type Pygmy music, you hear so many tribes playing different music, always kind of close but different, and that's magic. And I think the Bwiti music was not known up to the 65, 70 here in Gabon. We had an ethnologue called Pierre Salé who made a film about Disumba. You can find that, Pierre Salé, Disumba, and it was in 67. And I think it's only from 67 that the ethnomusicology from Europe discovered the Bwiti music. So it's very recent.
Well, I was just starting to say my journey started in West Africa.
Yeah.
So I haven't been since the kind of late 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went on 2 trips then. Just exploring the Kora and all the different tribes, and I imagine there was some, because I didn't really understand until that point that when I got there, you know, to the Gambia and Senegal, it was like after the kind of a 2-week trip exploring with other music enthusiasts around West Africa, and I finally understood. Okay, each tribe has got their own music, their own language, their own instruments. And then, of course, we're in the modern world where they can all play together now, and they've got the various lingua francas. Over there, of course, it's English. Over here, it's French. So, and I guess it must be a very similar story here. And then in the modern world, there's been a sort of a merging of different cultures, but also merging of forms of spirituality as well.
Yeah, yes, of course.
So within the Bwiti, there's different blends, as it were. Yeah. And this particular one is the Fang, blended with the Fang. Is that right?
Yeah. In fact, I don't know if you know, but the Norse people, the Fang people, they play in major. The harp is recorded in major. And in the south and center, the harp, which is used differently, is played in minor. So
exclusively in minor? They only play in minor?
As far as I know, the harp is recorded in minor in the south, or center in north. So it's more happy in the north and more crying in the south.
And are they 2 different tribes?
Yes, yeah.
One is in the south, with the minor is
the south, like Tsogo or Punu. They play in minor.
Right, and then in the north.
In the north, they play in major.
Which is what tribes?
Fang mainly.
Okay, so
Kota,
right, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very different. Even in the same tribe, people can be influenced by Christianity or not, and even in the south. You can be influenced by Christianity or not. It depends of different artists, of their own feelings, or in the ritual they've been initiated. So it's very difficult to say to somebody you prefer this or that. It's better to make them hear or make them meet, because it's difficult to say. You have this thing here, like everywhere in the New Age thing, that we know they don't know. But how can you know they don't know? Because you don't know them, So they know what they know, you know what you know, and Nobody knows all, that's sure, except me, of course.
There's a couple of aspects, qualities that I love about this world, the world of the Bwiti. Firstly, it links me to indigenous people,
culture,
where, as we said a bit earlier when we at dinner, it's like for me, there's got to be humour involved. And you can feel, and that comes out in the music as well.
Oh yes.
But also, I find very interesting and links back to Egypt as well through the Pygmies, is there's almost like there's a cosmology involved with this.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about that? Because that's particularly coming back to the initiation and the ceremonies. It's like, and some of the aspects which Mark's hinted at as well.
Yeah.
That this feels like a very deeper aspect of which I love that is part of this, because it's like it's an open secret. There's no secrets, but you have to go deeper to find the secrets.
Yeah, sure.
Which is a classic mystery school.
Yes, Eleusis. Yes. So yes. In fact, everything is supposed to be secret, but as you know, it's to you to discover. So you can ask questions, but they will always say "Fyof," and then you'll discover it by yourself. So this cosmogony is very. You have the genies of the places, and then you have access. They are our. You make offerings to the genies. And if they see that you're generous or good intended, they help you to link to the real divine. But they are divine already, because they are the fairies, they are the genies, they are the sea maids. And if you're pure in your intent and funny somehow, you can meet them. And they give you the help to link a deeper connection, have a deeper connection. So to talk about cosmogony, it's difficult for me, because you have Nzambekana, who is supposed to be the creator, which is symbolized by the spider, and the spider can play that too. But the spider is the architect, of the universe. So the link comes from the environment, who links you through iboga and you to higher strength. But if you can really think that you are the only one to feel it, but no, you're not the only one to feel it. And iboga makes you humble somehow, because. It makes you humble if you're kind of wise, because it can make you very, very proud for nothing too. You see that? So this cosmogony is to you to perceive it. It's like in the West Africa, they have here too. We have the god of thunder, the god of water, the goddess of water. God of air. There's different character, but this multiple join the one, and the one can express by multiple. So this war between unique God and multiple, it's really crazy, because there's no one without multiple. There were no multiple without the one. So why to say that when we have only one God, we are the one? Why nobody can prove that? The main realization is to understand that the bottom of universe is the bottom of yourself somehow. We are recipients of the universe, which is a recipient of us. So we are one, in fact. And the priest said that when he talked, he said that everything is illusion, except for truth and love, so that's very important to have this inner approach. You have Google, but you have an inner Google.
Inner Google.
Thank you, Google. But thank you to master plans, which make us realize that everything is in us already. Like the Tibetan used to say, Akasha. you grab information which are here, but they just wait for you to pick them up, you know. So, bon.